Let's talk about our module of the week and turn it over to Avi Schwab, a technical product consultant at ImageX and a maintainer of a number of Drupal modules of his own. Avi, what do you have for us this week?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. So, have you or a client ever wanted to get fewer web form submission emails?
Always.
Uh, do you like getting emails on a predictable schedule and not anytime a user decides to fill out your form?
Maybe. Tell me more.
If so, you might want to check out web form scheduled tasks. So, the web form scheduled task module was created by Matt Gill on November 22nd, 2017. It has a 3.0 RC1 release, which has Drupal 10 compatibility, but it is also awaiting review of a number of automated D11 fixes. So the last release was in November 23, or sorry, November of 2023. But just a month ago, I helped out Sean Dietrich get approved as new maintainer. He had a number of issues that he was working on. I saw that he had posted a request to become a new maintainer. So I made the connection on Slack between one of the existing maintainers and Sean. We submitted an issue and got it approved. And so hoping that he can get some new releases pushed out in the near future. The module does have security coverage. It also has tests to test the full functionality of the module, and they're passing. There's no standalone documentation, but there is a README issue in the issue queue that's RTBC'd. So that's also waiting to be merged. And that said, the project module page has a pretty straightforward description of what the module does and how to use it, along with a really nice screenshot. So getting it up and running is pretty straightforward. It has 24 open issues, only one of which is a bug against the current branch. But also, eight of these issues, as I said, are RTBC'd. So there should be a lot of fixes coming up. The module has 817 sites using it. So it's relatively small, but it seems like it's one of those small and powerful modules. To use this module, once you enable it, web forms will have a new scheduled task configuration screen. You go on that screen and decide whether you want to email all of the results of the form or just the results in its last export. Once you create that task, you can set a number of options. So you can set its next scheduled run and the run interval, whether that's a certain number of hours, days, weeks. You can also set where to email the results. So any number of emails, how those results come, whether it's a JSON or a CSV file, a couple other things about how the file is stored, and also whether to delete the submissions from the form in Drupal after they're sent. So this kind of like an archival process. There's also another RTBC patch that allows you to configure the file names to include the date and time of the export, which is really useful. By default, this just sends like export.tar.gzip or something, and having the timestamp on that file we found was really helpful for the recipients. And after you configure it, you just sit back and wait for cron to send you emails. So this is one of those Drupal modules that's like not like super interesting, but we've used it on a client project lately, and I thought it was really nice because they needed a solution. We needed a solution to a problem. We found it out in contrib land, and this module is built as a framework for web form doing scheduled tasks. So all of the hooks are in there. If you wanted to make a new task, all you would need to do is kind of figure out what you want to do, make that PHP file and submit it to the module, and you'd have a different kind of task in here. So not bad.
So this is actually pretty interesting. I guess my main question is what kind of have you noticed any performance implications for it? Because on a particularly high traffic site with a lot of submissions, which is the kind of site that you'd want to use this for, you're doing a lot more stuff during each cron run rather than or the cron run when it should run rather than just kind of doing it as needed. So I imagine the resources need to kind of bump up, or have you not even noticed at all?
We haven't we you know, the I think the site that we're loading it with or that we're using it with has, hundreds or maybe a couple thousand. We're not talking about like 10,000 or millions of submissions. We haven't noticed any issues like that. It takes the submissions, zips the file up. So it does save some space email wise. It's not just sending like a raw text CSV or
Yeah.
JSON. So you get like a submissions.tar.gzip. Um,
Okay.
I mean, I'm in awe. I mean, I think this is a great module of the week, and I think it's I don't know. I kind of like it, and I'm thinking of a couple of different places where this could be very useful. One question I do have, and I think I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. This feels like something that ECA could do, right? I'm wondering, I'm assuming the use of this module is simply just for kind of like ease of use and the lack of overhead, right? Like if you just need to do this task, it seems silly to kind of like install ECA and have to go through all of the like configuration loopholes to get it to work the way you want it to. This module just kind of does it out of the box. Would that be a fair assessment, Avi?
I think that is a fair assessment. I've yet to run into any process that ECA probably can't do. But that said, I've also not actually like installed ECA on any client site yet. Because like you said, I think, it's got infinite functionality, but there's also there's some overhead. So I listened to some of that in some of that conversation, the keynote. I think it'll be really interesting to see where it goes. ECA is already so great, but yeah, like if you need to do one thing, you can run composer require web form scheduled tasks and install it, and you're good.
Yeah, I think that's the trick is finding for ECA in general is finding out where that line is, right? When you have enough like these types of modules, enough mass to justify making the switch to ECA. Because, like you said, ECA allows you to, or if you need somebody that needs to configure it in the UI, kind of, or they have BPM and somewhere else and they want to import those workflows, there's a lot of power there. But it's also, if you're doing just one thing,
Yeah, I mean, we're scope creeping here, but I can imagine like a world of ECA, kind of like web form land, where there are, dozens and dozens of different extras, and also like video tutorials of how to do things like this. And I think when we get to that point with ECA, where there's a whole ecosystem of SMPs
oh,
or
we're
modules
there.
or whatever. Yeah.
I maintain some of them. We're there. That exist.
Okay.
I don't mean from like performance. I mean just it it takes it's an ecosystem module like Webform, right? If you don't need that, I mean, I certainly have Webform is probably my most installed module, but I certainly have projects that don't have it, right? I don't install it without needing it. But yeah, no, this module is very interesting. I did have one question though. It doesn't look like this tasks are handlers though. So are they configured separately from the form, or are they not in the web form handler?
Yeah, that's correct. I was thinking about that, like, just before the call, actually. I was like, "Why couldn't these be handlers?" I'm not positive, but my thought was that handlers run on every submission. Is that is
Oh,
that
that might be
the
right.
it I don't actually know, but my thought is that handlers run on submission, and this is a process that runs independently of that. So
That
it
makes
needed to
sense.
be a separate process. That's my theory. I haven't,
No, no,
you can ask Jacob the next time he's on the show.
I think you're right. I might look that up a little bit later too. But yeah, no, this
Yeah.
is a great module of the week.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that I really liked is, like, the module, the project page has this big old screenshot that's, like, basically 100% of what you need to get the module going and to, like, understand what the module does. There's no way I can understate how useful that is in, like, in, you know, promoting your module. Just show people what it does on the project page, and they'll download it. It's magic.
Awesome.
Well, Avi, thanks for bringing us this great module of the week and filling in for Martin. If folks wanted to suggest a module of the week or reach out to you, how could they go about doing that?
Sure. If folks want to suggest a module of the week, you can reach out to @manclue on Drupal Slack, or you can ping in Talking Drupal. I'm happy to fill in for him. I'll be suggesting, I got some great other modules of the week suggestions, so I'll be handing those over. And if people want to reach out to me, I'm Froboy in most of the places, or Avi Schwab on Drupal Slack.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Avi.
Oh, thanks, guys.